Tip number 1. Equip throwing knives. These have infinite ammo, so if you get caught out by Arkveld's command grab, you'll be absolutely fine and you won't get caught out because you don't have enough flash bombs. Hey, we've got about 20 tips to get through. I'm Dunks. Hit like and subscribe for more because there's plenty more content and guides coming out soon. This is my first successful run and I want to share with you what I've learned. So, let's do this. Setting up the vine trap and then doing a sneak attack. I'm trying to get in hits whenever I can and just keep it up. Avoiding the command grab. And then he goes straight into the trap. Brilliant. And just trying to keep really on it with the attacks. We get our first power clash. Now I'm using 2 parts of Doshiguma armor, and this is a set bonus that gives you an attack boost when you get a power clash. Consider it if it's appropriate for your weapon. Block, hit, block, hit, block, hit. Good sign that I'm in a flow state. How do you get into a flow state? One trick is actually to break up your playing into sessions and take breaks in between. Those breaks in between will help your brain to just subconsciously digest the information that you've been presented with, and you might find that when you come back to your next session, you'll be a lot more confident and able to just deal with things that you couldn't before. Give it a try. Now they've just announced that the next session of the open beta will have an additional day. That's because the PSN was down. But it's available for all platforms. So you've got plenty more time to practice if you'd like to. Oh, look at these colors. He's so cool. Glorious. See, to me, it's not so much that he's hard in and of himself, it's just that the time limit's hard because they've given us essentially what feels like a high rank Arkveld with low rank gear. So he's got a massively inflated health pool and he does tons of damage and you're not very well equipped to deal with it, so you just have to play like nuts. Unfortunately I did. I mean, sure, it took me like 20 goes, but what do you think about that? Nice. Smack. He feels so good to lance. He's got a few really annoying attacks, but when it comes to the main game, you'll have a lot more customization over what you're going to be using for your gear. So you'll be able to make it a lot more comfortable. And hey, you have a lot better defense anyway. I do a good job of avoiding these grabs at the moment, but it's not perfect throughout the whole hunt. Don't worry, you'll get to see those knives in action later. Just making use of every single opportunity. And perfect. Watch this. Completely whiff. Yeah, I completely whiff. Hey, just because I saw a bunch of speedrunners do it doesn't mean it was right for me. Just because you saw a bunch of people use something with your weapon doesn't mean it's right for you. Keep experimenting and see what works. Right, he's going to move to a different location, so check it out. Now's a great chance to sharpen my weapon, but you will move slower when you're doing sharpening or healing, so to save a bit of time, I start running with the Sacred and I use this Vitality Pod. Great tip. So environmental use doesn't have to be for offensive stuff like with this vine trap, it can also be for defensive stuff. And what we're going to do again Get another sneak attack. Always worth trying. And hey, it's almost patronizingly obvious, but when you get a chance to pop the wounds, go for it. Another power clash, another attack buff. There you go, Doshaguma's Might has activated. As you can see, well, if you're a Lancer, you'll be able to see I'm using a lot of mid thrusts. That's because it's very quick and very safe. I found that it worked really well for me. Plus it feels great just to be keeping up the hyper offense. Always respect the tail. Whenever you're behind him, even though it's not really a big design feature of him, he uses a lot of tail attacks. Just expect that it's coming whenever you're behind him. Oh, his colours are so good. Brilliant. Right now we're seeing him get attacked by these small creatures. Do just be careful where you stand, otherwise you'll end up like me. Respect the tail, man. Respect the tail. But where I can, I'm just trying to keep up as many hits as possible on anything that's vaguely a weak spot, even if it's not the ideal place to be hitting. Apparently you can cut that tail. I never managed to though. Epic whiff. Perfect. Here comes the big explosion. And you might not have realized this, but where my cursor is currently pointed, that's actually a safe spot. If you are close as he's trying to do this, he's usually aiming for your cat in this instance. Try and get forward, because both his arms become wounds that you can attack and get a wound break on. Check it out. About to do it. Wound break. Nice. And that creates another wound. Just getting as many jabs in as I can. Again, about that flow state. Respect the tail. Now you'll see me aiming for the head quite a bit. That's because I think you can get 2 different part breaks on the head. Not that it's important to the hunt, but it's important for me to get a sense of how I'm doing in terms of my damage output. Have I managed to get the right part breaks? And try and aim for the chains where you can. They are a weak spot and you can get flinches from them and even knock him out of this enraged state. And my sharpness. Oh, perfect. Throwing knife in his face. Infinite ammo. Don't have to worry. My sharpness hits orange. Okay, when you hit orange, you do want to sharpen. It just so happened to be at the time when he was about to move on. My main point here is if you're even in yellow, don't worry too much about trying to keep your sharpness in green. Especially for the lance, you end up chewing through sharpness really quickly. So, since the monsters move around quite a lot, take advantage of the times that they move on to do your sharpening then. Call the Sacred. Go for my Sharpen. And look out for another Vitality Pod. There's one. Use that to heal up. Now here comes a very potent memory. I'm going to try and aim a throwing knife at that boulder to get it down. But I completely missed because he's attacking a toad. My point here is, don't give up just because something goes wrong. I went through a mini session where I just kept giving up every single time one thing went wrong. And as you'll see from the end time, I could have actually ended up fainting a couple of times and still would have been fine. And now we've got a toad, we've got a bear, and we've got an Arkveld. And he's flying up the mountain. And Doshiguma is screaming at me, and I hate Doshiguma. Look at that shot, oh gosh. Over to the right here is something that's called a vitality bug or something. If you need to get a quick heal en route, use that. Now I'm manually running up the hill because I think it's a little bit faster. I could be wrong. But hey, it's a placebo effect that works for me. Now I have had lots of runs where he doesn't actually go up this hill, because I think his different spawn locations make his behavior change. So you might get a time when you don't get the right opportunities. Just do your best. And this freaking god bug, get over to the left of it. You want to make sure you get all 3 crystal pillars here. And there was one time when I was trying to get this one and I ended up getting the bug instead. So annoying. Oh, so satisfying. So satisfying. Get in lots of hits if you can. I was trying to be too defensive when I first started playing. I got too scared that he was going to get up quickly, but he stays down for a fair while. Nice. It's going to be a lot easier in the main game, I think. By all means, use your mount. Maybe don't over rely on it, but get a few wounds if you can. If you can. If your cat will let you. And if your cat doesn't put down a shock trap whilst you're mounting Muffin. No, flip. Because look what happens. Thanks, Muffin. But you got to roll with the punches and keep it up. He's hardly in that shock trap for long at all. Anyway, gotta move on. Next pillar, getting my butt kicked, getting almost killed, and success. Sucker. Get the heal. And Muffin should be getting me that heal, but he's stuck behind the wing. This isn't Muffin's best showing. I'm not going to lie to you. You can always panic dive if you're not too sure. Just try and beat him over. Yeah. I think there's also some environmental trap over here with these spikes, but I couldn't figure out what it was and how to get it to work. As you can see, it's not exactly an immaculate run. And be careful of calling your sacred, because he almost threw me into that explosion. My bird is trying to get me killed, man. And perfect example of getting a chain break to get a flinch. Absolutely whiffing that, but never mind, we'll get it eventually. From the map, we see the white circle, which means he's disengaged. He will fly to at least one of two locations. That's either the desert, which really sucks as there's not a lot to do there, or back to the grasslands. So check your map, highlight him, see what his trajectory is, and then fly ahead to the right space. Ooh. At this point, I'm not sure how it's going because it's been a bit of an odd route. I'm just hoping. But thankfully, he goes over to the base camp area, so I can easily get back there. And he's heading towards Raydal, who's still around somehow. So hopefully, there's going to be a turf war there, even if I don't see it. It'll just be a bit of free extra damage. And then my bird goes weird with the controls. He kind of has this mind of his own, and I'm not sure how to control it all the time. I'm trying to just sharpen up and get some heals in whilst that turf war's going on down there. And then trying to get him to jump off the cliff. So yeah, it seems to be going fairly well at this point. It's always hard to tell because there's no health gauge in this game. Always respect the chain, because I've been caught out so many times by thinking I've blocked it and then getting hit by the outside chain. Those things will one-shot you, man. And another chance for that big super attack to get another wound break. There we go. Brilliant. There are times when it doesn't work. I can't quite work that out. It's also really hard to see what's going on behind all those dragon explosions. Just keeping up the triple thrust, keeping up the offense where I can. Using payback thrust to help guide my hunter's position. Nice. Get the part break. And just going ham. At this point, I've gotten most of the environmental traps that I probably can. I'm just hoping that it's enough. And what I'm looking for is the skull symbol down in the map by his icon. Down. Where's my cursor gone? I can't see where my cursor is. Great. Never mind. Getting some nice part breaks, some nice downs, lots of opportunities to get tons of damage in. Because we're coming to the end now. And one final big tip. Knocking him out of that state, that's great. For some reason I go for a follow-up dash attack there. No idea why I decided to do that. It was very risky. These sweep attacks. This attack is so annoying because it doesn't flinch you, but it still does damage. And there we are, right there. We've got the skull symbol. That means he's ready to capture. Now what you're going to need are 2 trank bombs and either a pitfall trap or a shock trap. And I have them set to my radial menus, so it's nice and easy to do in the moment. You'll see that in a minute. You can make trank bombs using sleep herbs and parashrooms. Sleep herbs are down in this region, more over to the left of where the screen is and further on. Can't remember where the parashrooms are, but there's plenty of them around. Go on an expedition in between hunts and just go and collect a bunch of resources. Set them up in your radio menu, set them up on an item loadout so you can just quickly restock between attempts. Alright, let's finish this. So right now I'm just like, don't screw this up, don't screw this up. And you'll see there on my radio menu, I have the shock trap and I have the trank bomb set up already. I have literally just bought 2. For some reason you need 2 to do a capture. It's always been the case with Monster Hunter, but I just never really understood why they went for that. So there, 1, 2. And now I'm looking for an opportunity to do the shock trap. It all started with that tail. That damn tail. And then the lunge. Success! And I wish you all the success as well. I hope that's been really helpful. If it has, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content to come. When the game launches, I'm going to be doing live streams and tutorials and guides. 15 minutes. See, I could have gotten a feint or 2 in that time. Don't give up just because it goes wrong. Take care now.